Hello and welcome to a CF3 Partycast with Project Nerd. I'm Dane Mychal, the singular Dane Mychal. And I've got my red wine here. And below me is Dames Marvs, my co-host. And we've got 4 people here for this lovely... I'm going to be upfront with it. It's the finale of CF3 as we know it. It is the finale. And it's a Princess Bride themed party cast. You can see the background. We've got the overlays all set up for you. This is it. And we're going to talk more about what that means at the end of the episode. But we've got an actual real episode to do here, you guys. And so I'm going to introduce you to our 4 co-hosts for the evening. And we're going to talk about everybody's favorite 1987 romantic, I guess, fantasy... I don't know, fantasy, romance, adventure, The Princess Bride. And so up in the top left corner, first time ever on CF3. And hate to break it to you, it's going to be the last time as well, because this is it. Danielle Mumble from Project Nerd. You are like the social media guru, I guess, we would say.
I wear many hats. I'm the chief content officer. So I do a lot of editing, a lot of reviewing things on the back end, bugging Iggy when there's anything going amiss with the website, breaking the website whenever possible during testing, and yes, also managing social media along with Sarah Unicorn.
Yes, and you do a lot of promo for all the shows, and
yes.
You're always posting the schedule at the beginning of each week to make sure nobody misses their assignments. It still happens, but it's not because of you. Top right here, of course, founder, CEO of Project Nerd, wearing the new ball cap with the new logo, which we've also got featured in the corner in pink. It's Iggy Michniaki. How's it going, Iggy? This is your first time on the CF3 Partycast, I think.
I thought this was a Partycast for Runaway Bride. My bad. Like, I was really looking forward to talking about the Julia Roberts classic, Runaway Bride. I guess I'm going to have to go watch whatever this movie is in the meantime. But joking aside, I have my not really red wine, but it looks like red wine, and my peanuts.
Danielle, what are you drinking? I forgot to ask.
I'm also drinking red wine. It's a Petite Syrah. I don't know where any of my wine glasses are, though, so I have my fancy mug.
Now, did anybody bring the iocane powder to put into theirs?
Well, yeah, I mean, I built an immunity to it, but it's clearly filled with iocane powder.
And we can't show that. We can't show white powder being put into drinks on the Partycast, though, unfortunately. So it's already in everybody's drink.
Was that a rule?
No, just never mind. I was making like a drug joke, I guess. I don't.
You're not standards and practices.
There we go.
I built up quite an immunity, so there's not.
I cannot choose the glass.
You can never have too much. Oh my god, look how much that bubbled up.
Is that Pop Rocks? What's going on there?
It's actually it's iocane powder, but it's actually like a Bob Ross spin on Lickamade that they're making now.
Sure, because you can. So why not?
Jesus Christ! He's got that happy iocane powder.
Bottom left corner, we got Mike Kallio, director of The Scout, which was just at LA. What is it called? LA Screamfest or Horror Fest?
Screamfest LA.
Screamfest LA. And director of lots of other stuff. Mutant Swinger from Mars. The upcoming documentary Dinner with Leatherface, which is the Gunnar Hansen documentary. Producer of Howard the Duck, which Ernie, the director, was supposed to have out in 2021 for the anniversary, but it's now going to be 2022, I guess.
Yeah, pandemic. Thanks, everybody. My name is Inigo Mike Kallio. I've been sick for a month, and I'm preparing to die.
Well, in case this is your final broadcast, cheers to you. Oh, is that unsweetened?
Well, it's actually water, and I put iocane powder, aka emergency, in it. because I've been drinking emergency like there's nobody's business.
Yeah, my wife makes me take that too when I.
It's so delicious after the 48th one.
Okay, bottom right corner, we actually have somebody who cosplayed, who got the memo. It's Princess Buttercup, Melissa Joe Murphy.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
I'm cosplaying as the kid because I'm sick. Meh.
I love it.
Where were we?
Fred Savage. It took me a second. I couldn't remember his name.
Is this a kissing podcast?
Ooh. Oh yeah, there you go. Hello. Yep.
Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You
like
killed
that.
my father. Prepared to die. This is my name tag. This is my cosplay.
I was really ready to like throw a glove with an extra finger on it and just be like, "Oh yeah, I'm the six-fingered man." And then I found this in my closet, like everyone has. So
is that for when Inigo Montoya goes to his 20th class reunion?
Yes, I do want you to know that's like it's a real brand, real licensed name tag.
I
bet you spent really good money on that too.
You paid like $10 extra for that.
Ridiculous amounts.
Oh, I've gone broke. Dames, what are you drinking? That's what he. I think that's what he's drinking in his bedroom at the beginning, right?
I was going to say that Peter Falk was drinking for a couple of hours prior to going to see his grandson.
Yeah, right. He's like, I'm going to take him this girly book.
Yeah,
it's like I gotta go see my sick grandson. I better
probably
get
nothing
the
in the book. He's just making shit up as he goes.
I scoured the earth for that bag of Cheetos.
Does anybody? Anybody when they watch the movie, do you ever like look at when they go back to the frame story with Falk and Savage? Do you ever like look at how far he is in reading the book? Like he's halfway through at this point or whatever. Or I was always like wondering if the continuity like lined up.
It does.
Well, now we all have a quest.
Thank you.
It does.
I'm just giving you dumb chores for the next time you watch this, but
we have our own adventure. Yay!
All USs aren't on page 57; they're on page 62.
Yeah, I mean, the grandpa conveniently skips the chapter about hats, which we were all grateful for. If anyone actually read the original book.
I think all their hats look like this, so that's the other part of my cosplay as well. Or they look like
PN hats.
Yeah.
What is book?
Wait, this is based on something?
Yeah.
There's an actual book.
Oh yeah.
No.
All my powder went to the bottom.
I mean, you would be able to easily. It would not be inconceivable to determine which cup has the powder in it there, because it's clear that it's all sitting on the bottom.
Well, I mean, that's why they have the pewter cups in the movie. So
fair point.
I wish that I had some of those, but that's like a legit prop right there.
You know that Miller High Life completely dissolves iocane powder because it's the champagne of beer.
Fun fact.
So clearly, you can choose the wine in front of me.
Damn, that was a pretty good Wallace Shawn, actually.
That was.
Do you have any more?
I mean, let time roll out.
I thought that Wallace Shawn was hiding under his desk.
It'll be a slow rollout. He's hiding under his desk.
He's just below frame.
Okay, it's time for our first sponsor break. This Partycast is brought to you by Accolade, the makers of Hardball for the Commodore 64. You're never too sick to play Hardball. All right. Did anybody?
What the hell?
Commodore 64, you guys.
Kane, I love that you spent 17 minutes on this.
That was probably like 7, actually.
That's pretty good on graphic design side.
You missed my floppy disk drive.
Hey, Mike, do you need a graphic designer for anything? Because this could be done for you in 7 minutes.
With that quality, yes, for sure.
You still have to pay for the full hour, though.
Although there should be some God rays coming out of those clouds. That's just a suggestion.
Yes, some sick vapors coming off of them.
Yes.
There should be a creepy old man reading him a book in the back. Okay, so Princess Bride, did anybody see this in the theater back in 1980? Danielle saw it in the theater.
Yeah.
Don't want to ask. I'm not going to ask your age. You were a kid.
Just get in a gray area here.
I'm going to assume you were a child. Did you like it? Did you understand it?
Oh man, I loved it. But it, it was really interesting because I remember it, and I was a pretty small child, and it was one of those theaters that still did like the curtains. So as the movie opened, they opened the curtains. It was really old school and it was really neat, and it was the last movie I saw with my dad. So very memorable film. My siblings and I have seen it many times since then. Yeah.
Did they have peanuts?
No, but we did have popcorn, if I remember correctly.
Does anybody want a peanut?
Everyone bring peanuts.
I have a peanut.
It's the most memorable part of the movie for all of you. Nuts.
It's a good line.
It's the most fun line.
He just tries to rhyme all the time. Oh.
That's pretty awesome. So, Dee, this has like deep meaning to you. Then I guess the experience of seeing it. That's with the rest of us, and just go home. This is her show now. Like she can dive in deep with her.
This is where the talk begins.
Mike, you saw it in the theater too. Tell me about it.
I did, but I'm 50 now. I just turned 50 at the end of November, so I'm old as balls. I saw it was 87. I was a sophomore in high school. I went to movies constantly. I think I saw this movie 3 or 4 times in the theater, just like hanging out with friends and stuff. So I dug it. I thought it was fun.
And it wasn't too like PG for you for being a high schooler.
I was a drama geek. I was hanging out with drama kids, so this was right up our alley.
Yeah.
In between bouts of Dungeons and Dragons, things like that on the weekends. This was right up my alley. I mean, I used to LARP before it was a word. Me and my friends would play Dungeons and Dragons for real. We'd camp out in the woods in Michigan with wooden swords, and we'd break up into 2 teams, and we'd beat the shit out of each other with wooden weapons. And dress up capes and.
What did you call it in the absence of a term like LARP? Were you like, do you want to go just be
D&D live?
It was just D&D. You would just
D&D live.
D&D with friends.
You're like, want to go beat the shit out of each other? Yeah.
Yeah.
They called it the Princess Bride.
Well, that's what we call the guy who cried the most.
I think
you were often the
Dungeon
Princess
Master
Bride.
is just going to or at least in the 80s and 90s was like, that's what you're going to do. You're going to fucking go in the middle of the woods. You're going to, depending on the age group, maybe get a little bit lit, and you're going to play some D&D and see what.
Yeah, we'd sneak wine and stuff. We to poison it, we'd use apple cider vinegar.
Oh.
And by the way, Dame's always a princess, never a bride.
Speaking of apple,
Oh my God.
that was also in the film as well.
You have the Cheetos?
No,
He
I
spent
did
all
notice.
his money on the Post-it note. He doesn't have on the name tag. He doesn't have the Cheetos.
I brought Cheetos for another movie earlier this year. I can't remember what it was now. Poltergeist? Let's say.
Sure.
Is there Cheetos in Poltergeist?
I'm sure they were in the cupboard somewhere.
But I didn't notice the Cheetos until I was going through like the screen caps today. But as you can see in the background there,
Oh man,
Fred's got Cheetos in his room.
Look at the retroness going on there. What's
I
the
know.
like?
I looked for
Is
that
that like
bag.
nail polish remover? Does he have like
No,
nail polish remover on his shelf there? Like,
Oh, the green cap.
Yeah.
The green cap.
what's that? Is that like a
And he's got like a nail dryer, right?
No, it looks like a plastic mask that's
I
next
was
to it.
like,
I could almost think so too. Yeah.
mask thing.
Nothing
okay.
says healing a sick kid than some Cheetos.
And
Health
Sprite.
food.
I mean, in Sprite, right? In the 80s and 90s, that's what we were fed when you were sick.
Oh,
Oh, eat some junk food and Sprite. That'll give you
Right.
energy and,
Man,
and
we
get rid of
must-
your
Sprite or 7-Up
dehydration.
was-
Kids
Right.
spray when they're sick.
No, the thing for Detroit was Verner's ginger ale.
Vest.
You-
Vest was like the off-brand choice in Southern Illinois. You got whatever cola Sprite version of vest you could get.
No,
RC.
Detroiters, if you get shot, they pour Vernors on it. That's how much Vernors has healing properties.
To this day, that still happens there.
I'm gonna
Cut
call
off
bullshit.
a lip, pour some Vernors on it, it'll grow back.
I'm
Is
gonna
it
call
like
bullshit on
Windex
this.
from my big fat Greek wedding? Squirt some Windex on it.
Yes.
Mike, we're gonna have to call you back for one more encore of CF3, and it's gonna be 8 Mile because you've got all these Detroit stories.
I worked on 8 Mile.
Do not miss your chance, Mike. Do not miss your chance for that one.
He worked on it.
You only get one shot.
I worked on 8 Mile when they shot in Detroit.
Sweet.
I was on that show for 3 days.
Were you writing rap battles for Eminem?
I was.
Obviously.
I was an extra. You can't see me. I was an extra in the auto plant scenes, and I did some running around. But I also worked on the "Lose Yourself" music video. I actually rebuilt the 8 Mile mobile court sign.
Whoa, that's amazing.
Yeah, because Universal, it was shipped back after the movie. It was shipped back to Los Angeles, and we called Universal for it, and they lost it. It's a giant sign. It's like 5 feet long, neon. It weighed like 200 pounds. They're like, we don't know where it is. How about, in the crate that says 8 Mile mobile court sign? Why don't you just write it on a Sharpie on that crate so you know where it is? Come on,
only on CF3 would you wind up talking about 8 Mile during a Princess Bride.
Well, he brought it up.
Tell you, Dane, I'm going to call bullshit, Dane. And I know that you lived the same childhood I did. But how many of you would have to duck under the covers if your mom opened the fucking door while you're sick and you're playing video games? There ain't no way. My mom would have been like, oh, if you can play video games, you can be at school. I'm like, how? That's not even the same thing. Like, I'm just sitting here. Nope. If you're sick, your ass better be in bed, the blankets pulled up over your head. Bullshit.
No,
I was a latchkey kid. If I was sick and my mom was home, well, that just didn't happen. If I was sick, I was home alone, watching TV by myself all day, making my own soup, and it was amazing.
Price is right.
But I was raised by mom and grandma was always home. So I just watched Petticoat Junction and Green Acres with her. And she'd make me soup.
She's like, this will teach you to be sick, Mike.
If I got
Petticoat Junction.
She's like, how you feeling, Mike?
Yeah, perfect attendance that year.
I'm good.
You're like, can I go back to school?
If I got too rambunctious, she'd go to my mom, go, I think he's getting better. And I'd be, no, I'm going to die. I must stay home for at least another 3 days.
No, I will say when I was homesick.
I need to finish the story arc for Green Acres with Arnold the Pig.
When I was homesick, I would lay on the couch with my Sprite for rehydration, right? Mm-hmm. And then watch. Actually, Princess Bride was one of the 3 movies that I would watch every time I was homesick.
See how he had that back in? Just full circle.
But it was true.
Because
movie though.
Is it because
in it?
Like 7-Up was a
Is it because he was sick that you were like, you naturally just linked that?
No, it's just one of those ones that at that age there was 3 movies I would just watch over and over again through probably a period of from 3rd or 4th grade into high school, and it was that one, and then Field of Dreams and Tombstone.
I thought you were going to say
quite the trio of.
I thought you were going to say Eddie Murphy Raw and Eddie Murphy.
Right. It just keeps getting further and further R. Yeah.
Now, was that stuff you just happened to have on VHS? Is that why those were the movies that you watched so often?
Well, it depends. What is the how far can the law go back to know that we illegally recorded those VHSs? Right? Like, what's the
VH what?
Exactly. Those were ones actually that we bought too. So that was pretty significant as well. They were owned movies. And The Princess Bride was just one. I don't know. I'm obsessed with movies now. I just migrated to the new app version of it, and I currently have 1,700 hard copy movies in this house. And it just always, since I was a kid, it was movies. So Most of them as a kid, though, were recorded VHS that you would then record over again when another movie came on, and then just fast forward through the commercials.
Yeah.
You all know the trick. You all know the drill.
Yeah. We recorded all of our stuff off HBO, so you didn't have to do that. Iggy, do you have the Criterion Collection Princess Bride?
Oh, yeah. That beautiful purple. I should have brought it up. That purple digibook of it.
There we go.
That exact one right there. I have that. I have the standard anniversary release on DVD still. I have the Blu-ray anniversary edition on Blu-ray, and then the Criterion Blu-ray one. So I still have 3 copies in my possession. I no longer have that VHS.
Wow.
Do DVDs have smells to them like books that you're sniffing it? There, Dames? Like
mine do.
Melissa, do you not own a DVD?
That's the powder, man. That's the powder, not the DVDs.
I'm a lot of information. Digital.
Don't you wish you lived here?
I'm waiting for Dane to take off his hat and pull a DVD out of his hat. Like,
don't you wish you lived there where he has maybe one Christmas tree up, if that, as opposed to your Melissa's 7 or 8?
Eight Christmas trees. Okay. Yeah, but I didn't do them. So shocker. Everyone probably thought, oh, she's crazy. She has 8 trees. She must be crazy. I'm not crazy. My fiance is crazy. He did them all. Every one of these trees is his and with a theme.
Did you just call Beyonce crazy?
I was just talking about Beyonce for a second. That was really
what does it say about you that you're going to marry him?
Beyonce, my fiance.
Actually,
what did Beyonce do?
To be totally honest, that's what a crazy person would say.
No.
Yeah. He knows crazy. He's in LA.
I'm just different crazy. So
speaking of crazy person, on Princess Bride, my ex-wife, this all goes together, crazy and ex-wife.
Oh my God, I can't, hold on.
She had never seen this movie. And you know why she had never seen this movie as an adult? When what was that, the 25th anniversary, the really cool like double DVD cover where you could put it upside down, whatever. She had never seen it. And she said, because I always thought it was a chick flick, so my family wouldn't watch it. And I was like, okay, weirdo. But showed it to her and showed it to my 2 kids. And all of them extensively watch this movie now. It has a lasting impression. It's the one positive thing my ex-wife and I exchanged, I guess, was Princess Bride.
Not children or anything, but the Princess Bride.
the children too. Yes, the children too. Yes.
Somewhere in there, the children fit.
Who's ready for a question of the day? I am. I'm ready to make you guys answer a question of the day. This revolves around Fezzik, who's amazing. But as you know, he's been played by Andre the Giant, the late great. But that led me to another question. Who is your all-time favorite wrestler? I'm going to go with so Mike here, you're going to have to unmute.
Come
on. We know that.
I can immediately tell you my favorite wrestler was Roddy Piper.
Oh.
Okay. That's a brilliant choice. And I love his movies that he was in as well.
Hell Comes to Frogtown should be on the AFI film registry.
Yes.
You got to save those virgins and you got to repopulate this planet.
There should be statues of Piper in every major city across the United States.
There should be a 12-minute backyard brawl in every movie moving forward.
I can't disagree with you. And yes, They Live, the John Carpenter joint
with Larry David.
Such a classic.
Not
Larry. No. It's something.
That would have been an interesting movie with Larry David in it. For sure.
Yeah. I was like
pretty
curb stomp your enthusiasm in a 5-minute brawl.
No, it's
something David.
I think it's
Keith David.
Then there's David Keith, who's the white guy, who was, I think, in Starsky and Hutch. I don't remember. But I think it should be Larry David against whoever's taking Roddy Piper's place.
He was also in 8 Mile. Just kidding.
Larry David?
Oh, yeah.
Or David Keith. Or Keith David.
Yeah, Larry David won all the rap battles.
Some David is in that movie.
He wrote all the rap battles.
Danielle, did you ever watch wrestling as a kid or an adult?
So as a kid, my first stepdad was super into wrestling, and I kind of got pulled into it, and so Roddy Piper obviously was going to be a big response there. But as a kid, like Hulk Hogan was really big in the 80s. So like he even had his own cartoon for a hot minute. Like
he was in several movies too.
Like you kind of had to love Hulk Hogan. Like if you didn't, I mean, whatever, but he was pretty awesome. So
we watched the WrestleMania live where Ultimate Warrior beat. We had the pay-per-view and everything where Ultimate Warrior beat Hulk Hogan. And like a kid we were watching it with started crying.
I mean, that's
there was
response.
So
there's like a generational gap between like the people that were ready for Ultimate Warrior and the people who were still like firmly in the Hulk Hogan camp. That was there was like a big split there.
Yeah, I'm so glad you remember that.
Did you not remember it, Dames?
No, I totally did, but he was also he was on the spectrum. He was autistic, and we knew that Hulk Hogan was going to lose, and we knew that he was going to be destroyed.
How would you say that we knew? Just because like Ultimate Warrior, they were like building his profile the entire year.
Yes.
And Hulk Hogan was probably asking for too much money. Iggy, who's your favorite wrestler?
I'm gonna have to go with this. What's the Ram? Randy the Ram Robinson.
Randy the Ram Robinson.
That's an excellent choice.
Mickey Rourke in his
it's Mickey Rourke
hour.
In the wrestler.
Yeah, in his finest hour. Oddly enough, for somebody born in the early 80s, I am probably the only person in my age range, only male in my age range that is just didn't watch wrestling. I'm very aware of who Hulk Hogan is. Obviously, Roddy Piper because of the movies, like y'all said. If I had to pick an actual real wrestler, I think The Undertaker was the one that I was most aware of. And just his whole persona thing, even though I didn't watch it, seemed kind of cool. It's like the skinny goth kid who survived everything or something. So
we put people in a coffin and fucking nail it when they're...
I saw him on a plane once in business class, and that guy was like sleeping, and he was like, his legs were in the aisleway. He's enormous. He's like 18 feet tall.
18 feet tall. I mean, I should have been watching more wrestling then. 18 feet tall, nailing a coffin shut. Although I think Randy the Ram Robinson might
Dude,
be,
which was a Ultimate Warrior ripoff, by the way.
Ram? Well, he had the tassel things on his elbows and stuff like.
Well, his action figure even had the
face paint. Yeah. My favorite Randy the Ram Robinson line was like there's some like neighborhood kids. He always wants to play his 8-bit Nintendo game that has his character in it because he likes to play. But they're like he goes over to like neighbor kid's house and wants to play it, and they're playing Call of Duty, and he's like, what's this called? He's like, Call of Duty. He's like, Call It Duty. Call It Duty. He's like so out of touch.
That movie's fantastic.
It's a good one.
I'm trying to find the picture of me and Iron Sheik.
While we're talking about old wrestlers, I'll just go ahead and say mine changed from being Roddy Piper this year to somebody that we actually met at a Comic-Con, Colorado Springs Comic-Con. Project Nerd was at, and he came up to our booth, and I held his phone while he recorded a cameo video. The Honky Tonk Man.
Dude, how can you not love him after that?
That's a great answer, actually, Dane. You got a good point there. Probably Honky Tonk Man after that whole, especially too because he refused to let like them send black car service to his hotel. He was like, "It's just it's just across the street. I'm walking. I don't know why these other like Hollywood celebrities have to. That's Hollywood types. That's right. That's what he said." I was like, "Oh,
Dane,
man.
You have to preface this episode with the bumper because no one did it with more passion than he did." I'm 2-time Intercontinental Champion, and you're watching Project Nerd.
Now that I think about it, like we didn't make a bumper for him, did we?
Somebody recorded it, but I don't know where it's at.
I have it on my phone.
All right.
Well, there it's at.
We'll find it. Melissa, do you know any wrestlers?
The Rock.
Yeah.
But no, but awesome. I mean, I like me the Rock, but it was probably Hulk Hogan. Like when I go back and forth, mostly because I watched like Mr. Nanny and Suburban Commando, like a
Suburban Commando.
That's what it was. Suburban Commando. I couldn't remember what the Commando movie was. God, that was horrendously fantastic. Huh?
Exactly. So I have to say, like, because of those fond memories from that.
I always used to get John Gielgud and Hulk Hogan confused.
What?
John Gielgud.
You know,
yes.
Was that the one where like he actually had his real daughter come and play the daughter in that movie? Was that Suburban Commando?
Suburban Commando.
I don't know. Like an alien robot, like cyborg thing.
Yeah, he was like an alien or whatever, and coming into like the whole life. And what was it like? Doc Brown was in it, and it's Back to the Future all of a sudden.
Doc Brown in character as Doc Brown.
I feel like there must be
an unofficial Back to the Future sequel.
And Mr. Nanny, he played a wrestler that was like out of work and had to be a bodyguard or something like that.
That's actually what he's
the one who
now.
set up all of the future career moves of Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I thought Mr. Nanny was about Fran Drescher.
I like the nanny too.
Of course you do.
Damon, you didn't answer.
Okay. So sexually, China, and in real life, Dan Gable.
He actually picked a he's a professional wrestler in a way, but he wasn't like a WWE. He was like an actual like Olympic wrestler.
He's the greatest wrestler that ever lived.
I back
not
that.
A lot of people
I back
could
that
argue.
theory.
Not a lot of people would argue that. He's just not a good actor.
Not a lot of people here could argue that, maybe.
Well, then Kurt Angle, if I have to pick an actor.
Okay. I'm really sad that and Kurt Angle was like a champion in WWE as well. But I'm really sad that nobody actually picked Andre the Giant because
it's too obvious.
That dude was amazing, like in this movie.
Did y'all know that Arnold Schwarzenegger was actually almost Fezzik in this movie?
Really?
Yes, because of Andre the Giant was a scheduling conflict. And significant enough, Schwarzenegger wasn't like as big at that point yet. He was, just kind of still earlier.
That's true. That was before Kindergarten Cop, Terminator 2, Total Recall. So he would have just been coming off of, it was even before Predator. He would have just been coming off stuff like like Commando would have been around there. Some Red Heat.
Commando, right? Like he was just doing no, but I think if anybody's listened to the commentary track, they know that Andre the Giant was like the direct, like I want Andre the Giant from the get-go, but it almost didn't happen because of scheduling conflicts, and they were having to look at alternate options.
Yeah.
I mean, we could do an entire episode just on Andre the Giant. If you've ever watched his documentary stuff.
I haven't.
Good Lord.
His documentary on HBO is incredible.
He would drink like 24 pack of bottles of beers and like still want like 8 bottles.
Talk about wine. He would drink like a case of wine.
I think HBO is paying Dane though, because Dane's plugged HBO twice now in this episode.
Rick, can you record that for me on VHS later?
VHS? Dude.
I just said HBO, but not HBO Max. No, our sponsor is clearly
Calculate.
With hardball.
Get your Commodore 64 today. I actually, when I was looking at pictures, they are making a Commodore 64 that you can buy like now, brand new. You can buy it on Amazon, and it's just like a reproduction of it, and it's got the games preloaded into it.
And it costs less money than your stupid name tag.
It's less money to make, at least, too. It's crazy. You can literally create anything from the 80s and 90s again, and we will buy it. Like we will start handing over that money.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Dane Mychal. I bought this "Hello, my name is" tag, and I got ripped off.
Oh, you crushed his heart.
No, I like it, Dave. I like the name tag.
We're gonna take a quick commercial break. No, I'm just kidding.
If Michael Kallio's not here when we get back, it's because he had a son.
It's because he went to go buy his own name tag because he's jealous.
Yeah. I thought it had something to do with the powder.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Party Pooper.
Didn't build up a tolerance to that powder like he thought.
Hey, guess what, you guys?
What?
For the memory of a lifetime, recast, recast, recast.
It's like Angels. Angels wrote that song and sang it.
It's like it's almost like it was ripped off from the movie Total Recall.
What?
Shock.
But they changed one word in it, so
It's a parody.
original.
It's a parody.
So
we cannot be sued.
And that is homage.
If we could have been sued, like every time we uploaded an episode of CF3 to YouTube, the algorithm would have caught it and flagged it for copyright. But that is originally recorded by Greg Marcus and Dames Marvs on the vocal. So it's time to play Total Recast, which everybody here has played except for Danielle. And so I will not make her go first.
Oh man, come on.
Actually, Iggy hasn't.
I'm familiar. I'm familiar because
He's familiar with
we're maybe working on something, right, Dane? I don't know. Maybe. No.
So Mike Kallio is off the screen. Oh, he's back.
It's like a Muppet, dude.
I had to take care of the drainage.
We
And I didn't want
appreciate.
people to see.
Oh, Dame said Muppet.
Did somebody say Muppet?
Dane,
From here.
I don't-
Kermit the Frog here.
particular set of
I don't know
skills.
if that's a good recast decision, though, Kermit.
I'd like to. I'd like to recast Westley with Kermit. No,
Although
Mike,
I'd watch the Muppets Princess Bride. I'd watch
That's
it.
that's my recast. That's actually
There
my
you go.
recast. It's Muppets Princess Bride.
I'm in. I'm in.
Muppets
Like,
are
100%.
They're all amazing. Why would the Princess Bride Muppet style not be just as good?
Dude,
You
watching them
stole-
climb the ropes on the cliffs of infinity would be amazing.
I'm sorry.
Gonzo would be Inigo Montoya.
Mm.
Kermit would be
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, actually, like somebody needs to get on the phone with Disney right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Sweetums would be, of course, the Andre the Giant character. You know, it's a no-brainer. Thanks for ruining it for me, Dane. Thanks a lot.
hey, who's
Okay, but you
Humperdinck?
still have to do some celebrities in the
Who's
Muppet
Humperdinck
movie.
in
Probably
your
like
Muppet
some
version?
actual people, not just Muppets.
Every
I can't
Muppet
remember
is
the
a
name, but it's the Muppet that he's like bluish. He looks like a lizard sort of.
Oh, John Denver.
The one who's like always mistaken as a villain.
Yes.
Who hangs out with
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we can go other ways too. I mean, you could say Humperdinck would be Sam the Eagle.
You should probably stop touching your Kermit.
That's what she said.
You shake
Kermit
it
Violet.
twice, right?
She's
What's that
green with
saying?
envy.
Does anybody want any frog legs?
Oh.
Wow.
Kermit.
Let's see.
Is that Steve
Okay.
Whitmire over there?
I accept your proposal of a Muppet Princess Bride.
Plus,
love it.
you just get
I love
everyone who was in the movie to be human cameos in the actual movie. Billy
Yes.
Crystal.
So who's Michael Caine playing?
whoever he wants. Whoever he
You
wants.
need Michael Caine in it, even though he
I would
wasn't.
say he's the old man reading the story.
There you go.
I don't know though if I could. And so
The
Oh,
Princess
US.
Bride with by F. Morgenstein.
I just want to correct Dames who called it the Cliffs of Infinity. It's
Insanity.
actually the Cliffs of Insanity. Oh,
That's what I said.
I took that picture when I went there. It's on the west coast of Ireland. It's really called the Cliffs of Moher. So I've been to one of the filming locations for The Princess Bride.
want to go to Ireland so bad.
2016.
Whoa.
Maybe get your fiance to sell a couple of them Christmas trees.
Go those Christmas trees.
None of them are worth anything.
Take your ass to Ireland.
Okay.
I went, and then COVID, and then I was like, son of a, and now never.
You'll get there. You'll get there. Just like you're gonna be able to complete a total recast for us for Princess Bride.
Oh, I thought we all just collectively as a group.
No, that's not how this works.
We were all in agreement. Like, cool, done.
I hate to correct people on the rules for total recast when I always tell them there really aren't rules, but it just keeps happening.
Iggy has a
You do have to
question.
pick one.
Iggy has a question.
I have
Iggy
a
has-
recommendation. I have a recommendation. Shouldn't Mandy Patinkin be the old man who reads the book in the remake instead of Michael Caine?
No, because Michael Caine wouldn't have anything to do then. He'd have to live. Like,
He could be the sick kid in the bed.
Michael Caine is the Cliffs of Insanity.
No, he could be. He could be the old man dying in the bed.
That's true.
He can be the iocane powder.
Yes, he's
Michael Iocane.
He's one of the
Michael
rocks
Caine
that
powder.
Fezzik throws.
Michael iocane.
It could be one of the rodents.
After he's been cremated.
I think if you do a remake, you have to bring somebody back, and I think Mandy. We've seen now Mandy play like the grandpa style character. What was that? Life Itself. He did a really well job as it. So
maybe Mandy Patinkin is the kid sick in bed.
right? No, you bring Fred Savage back for that one. Or that's Michael Caine.
I was going to say, or that's Michael Caine. He's not. He's dying. He's sick in bed.
The
dying.
curious case of Mandy Patinkin.
Fred Savage is just sitting there all disgruntled, like, I'm like 56. Why am I playing this kid again?
Wait, no. So Michael Caine is his grandpa dying, and Fred Savage is now reading the story to his grandpa.
Oh my god!
Ooh,
Well done. Yeah.
Ooh, I like
All
this.
I'm looking forward to is the ROUS scene led by Rizzo the Rat. Why are you beating me?
Done. Wow. This is going to be a movie. Just wait. Someone of some form of Disney importance is seeing.
I have a feeling that all apartments in
right
this,
now.
in
All right,
Los
Mr.
One
Angeles-
thing Disney doesn't own is MGM. So
yeah,
Can't do Princess.
soon enough.
Give them 6 months. Give them 6
Princess
months.
Bride
I
is
know,
on Disney
they're gonna
Plus
own
right
it
now.
all.
It is on Disney Plus right now.
Oh, is it? I watched it on
Yeah,
Hulu, but Hulu owns or Disney owns
Who
Hulu. I
is
think.
by Disney? Yeah.
I'll call my buddy Kirk, who just directed the Haunted Mansion thing for Disney Plus.
There you go.
Wondered which it was good.
I watched that and really, really liked
All
it.
right, Miss Piggy,
Yeah.
what's your recast?
Was that who?
I mean,
Melissa.
One of us
Buttercup.
is
Iggy
calling
gave his
a
recast.
big
Buttercup.
James.
Go ahead.
Wait, I only get one person, and I wasted it on that.
No,
Yeah,
you can go again
Okay.
later.
I just
Okay.
did. I just rewrote like the whole Muppet thing. I did. You know, Michael Caine is old grandpa dying, and Fred said, "I just
She wasn't
All
prepared.
right.
That's fine. Iggy,
All
go
right,
ahead.
you total rewrote instead of total
How many am I
Total
allowed
rewrite.
to do?
I
I
wouldn't
have
call
a
it a
whole
total
list.
rewrite. I'd call it just like a little
Partial rewrite.
zhuzh. I zhuzhed it up.
Or
like
or
it.
you could get the cast for Saved by the Bell to do the Princess Bride over. The old cast of Saved by the Bell.
They are desperately in need of money, clearly.
I
Huh?
know.
What
I
they're
feel so
doing now.
bad for them.
I
I know.
watched the season 2 and most of them are in it.
Mr. Belding can be reading the Screech's.
They don't
report.
look that great these days.
How many people am I allowed to cast? Can I do it? Because I have a whole list right here.
Go for
You
it.
can
Well,
take
let-
some of mine. Go for
Let
it.
Danielle go first
Oh, okay.
before you take every idea that can possibly be taken.
Yeah, I mean, the movie itself, like I would never recast anyone in the original film itself.
Okay, yeah.
Everything's perfect. But if it were remade today, Patton Oswalt as Wallace Shawn's character.
What the hell? Are you like reading my notes? Look at this.
Nice! Because Patton Oswalt is amazing and he should be in all of the things. But
I clearly did not make that graphic in the 1 second between you.
Dave's Photoshop skills are just getting better. He's
So
turning them around right quick.
and my whole reasoning for that was it would be a fool's errand to try and recast anything in the original Princess Bride, I think.
Yeah.
My prefacing for this is like, you shouldn't even remake the movie either. But if you had to,
no, you wouldn't. You wouldn't.
If you had to,
this movie does not need to be remade. Please stop remaking awesome movies.
If
Well,
Disney
they're
gets
going
their
to.
fingers
Yeah.
on it,
They're
If
already
you had
to,
if you had to, yeah.
I feel like
And
Mike
then,
just said they're already talking about it.
They're already talking about remaking it.
But with Muppets, it's going to happen.
it's gonna
Just spread it like
And Chris
wildfire on the
Chris
internet.
Pratt gets
No.
to be.
because he's in every
I'll,
remake.
I'll storm the castle that is Disney Studios down the street and be like, "Hey, people, you're gonna
I'll come
remake
with
it."
you. I'll come with you. Let's we'll make a little thing online. It's just gonna slow roll into this big thing of.
We'll
You
fight
need to
them
be
off
saving
with
your money
Christmas
for
tree
Ireland.
collection.
Turn into that Area 51 thing.
James,
Fuck
who was
Ireland.
your
This is
recast?
important. This is important.
Iggy can go first. I don't mind waiting. I want to hear what the brother has to say.
Well, I think would we all be in agreement? Like, if it's done today, we have no choice. It's done. So I know we all are on board that it's like.
Yep.
But obviously Billy Crystal and Carol Kane can come back as Max and Valerie, right? Like they can still do that role.
Just no age makeup this time.
right. They don't need. I seriously think Mandy Patinkin should be the grandfather. But I did like the suggestion to kind of flip the script and have, that would be very sweet. Like to have the. Anyways, I think I have Pedro Pascal as Inigo Montoya.
What? You would recast it today as a new movie?
Yeah, well, you can't cast it then.
I'm just kidding.
Joe Keery would be a good Prince Humperdinck, I think. Joe Keery from Stranger Things, for those that don't know. And I would actually pick Timothée Chalamet and Florence Pugh as Westley and Buttercup.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
From Little Women
Okay.
a couple of years ago, 1 or 2 years ago.
Well, she was also a wrestler we could have picked as a favorite wrestler from, was that Fighting with My Family or what?
You're all just picking like fictional wrestlers,
Right.
but it still counts.
No, I think they'd be good. And then the only other one I had on my list, because I couldn't think of some of them, but I did have Count Rugen, Michael Shannon.
Okay. I really like the Pedro Pascal. I mean, if you have to recast it, but as long as you let Danielle and I have our Patton Oswalt as Wallace.
What does he really think? Or what does she really think?
What does he really think? That it sucks?
I'm mute.
Yeah, I can't read the rest of that.
Read the rest of it.
Doesn't
Does it-
support.
Does he think? Oh, this is a part of
Does not support.
This was from November
This is the whole
2021.
article. The headline is the same as
No,
last
I'm-
one.
Last
I'm gonna,
month,
like sit here and scroll for you so you guys can read it yourself. But
But it
this,
doesn't look like that's just really funny. Like, and that's it. That's all
That's-
you need.
That was the whole story.
That's all you need to know.
I think the last time
From-
I talked to Mojo was actually on Carrie Elwa's birthday. Is that true?
what?
The last time I talked to you, Mojo, was on Carrie Elwa's birthday.
When you asked me to do this,
No, before that.
no, because that was like 2 days ago.
I know,
That was
but that
one
was
day
the
ago.
last time that you
Yesterday.
Don't be an asshole.
This article is from the end of November of this year. So
But that's how awesome Melissa is. She had she had 1 day prep and probably watched Spider-Man today in the theater.
I did.
remember
Don't
right.
say anymore.
And I haven't seen it, so don't say anything. But she still got in costume on that short of notice and having watched Spider-Man, which is crazy.
Oh, I couldn't
Nice.
dig my dress out of the closet in time. Sorry.
All my tunics are in the wash. So.
Right.
If I had known that no one was going to do like a dark mask, I might have attempted.
I can't. I
All right,
like
Dan.
costumes.
I couldn't get anything delivered in time. It's that we're recording this, you guys, right before Christmas. Like you cannot get anything in the mail delivered in time.
No.
I was busy all week locking down agreements for PNTV.
PNTV coming March 2022.
March.
It's an OTT streaming app. And Mike Kallio is going to have movies on there once he replies to Iggy's emails. But we'll talk about that later.
I did. I'm waiting for Iggy to send me something.
Oh, is it my turn to reply? My bad.
Yes.
Thanks a lot, Dane, for putting me on the spot.
Oh my!
I'm just waiting for contracts.
All right, Dames Marvs. Total Recast.
All right. Well, if I have to recast this today, I'm recasting Fezzik because I know none of you schmoes will do that, and I'm picking Shaquille O'Neal to do that role because I think it would be amazing. Now
he's a big boy.
If I had to, if I was forced to recast a person from the original, I'm just going to be stupid and say Sean Penn instead of Carrie Elwes.
Oh, forecasting the romance.
You can't.
Okay,
because you can't out-act Sean Penn. He's the best actor ever, as we all know from Team America.
He's a super important actor. I'll say that. I don't know.
That's right. That's right.
I wouldn't say that he's just ever been like dashing in the way that Westley is supposed to be.
You dick.
He's been like Spicoli, the original Bad Boys, where he's in jail.
I don't see Punchy McGee as the Carrie Elwes as Westley.
Well, that's where your vision is fucked up, Mike.
Sorry.
He says that while his eyes are closed. Okay. One more question of the day, and we're going to be quick with it. So it's going to be like snappy answers to stupid questions, Mad Magazine style. And then we're going to score this for the Cult Filmometer. Okay. So here it comes. If you really wanted to torture me to death, the best way would be...
Torture you, or...
If you really wanted to torture me to death, this is like each of you answering yourselves. So Iggy, you ready?
Oh, I guess I understood, I guess is what I was saying.
I feel like I know that yours is going to have to do with a certain person, but we'll let you.
No, mine would be you put me on an endless highway without exits behind two people in each lane going below the speed limit.
Oh,
man, that's harsh.
That's hell. That's hell. That's what I see as hell.
That's harsh.
Okay.
No,
I like it.
Oh man,
I like it because I dislike that situation as well. Melissa, do you have an answer yet?
Yeah. Just constant chewing in my ear. People chewing. I do not like that sound, especially if I'm not eating. Then it's just quiet. It drives me absolute bat shit crazy. Like I don't let my son chew gum almost ever. It's like a treat because I hate the sound.
So when I was sitting here eating this apple earlier, you were just dying inside.
I can't stand when you people are chewing. I'm gonna go buy a bunch of trees.
That's what I thought it was gonna have something to do with trees. It was death by tree was the torture or something.
More trees. I will die just underneath one of these fuckers.
James, slow torture for you.
Make me watch another fucking Ernest movie.
He's such an asshole. You give it like a 40. Melissa, you give it like a 40 something, like a 43 or something. Terrible.
What?
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
That's so sad. I love Ernest. He's like such a big childhood thing for me. And
Danielle, torture.
Stuck in a car in bad weather with children screaming in the back seat, and you just have to keep going because there's nowhere to stop.
If it feels like this happened like last weekend or 2 years. It seems like a very fresh wound.
Yes, last winter. Bad weather. Hate being in a car during bad weather. Children screaming. Can't stand it, especially if you can't do anything about it. If you're in the car, if they're in their car seats and you're in your seat, literally nothing you can do but hear them scream and be like, sorry, child, you don't know what's happening to you. You're being tortured. I'm being tortured. We're all being tortured.
You can't even be like, if you don't stop, we'll turn this car around. No, there's nowhere to turn around. It's bad weather.
Like, no, it's further. Yeah. It's further back home than to the destination. So that.
Yeah. You're just, you have like an hour or two of bad weather to drive through to get home, and you're just stuck. You're just stuck on the road. That's my nightmare.
Mike?
You can't even get up and move around. You're just stuck in a car.
Torture, Mike.
Having this cold for 5 fucking more minutes. But then send me back to Michigan in like a really bad snowstorm and being stuck in the house. That's when I set fires.
Without a camera, without a movie camera.
Don't admit to setting fires in Detroit these past 5 years. Like, don't admit to that.
Yeah, or the last 35 years or 55 years. But yeah, I can't stand winter. Although I like a friend of mine has a cabin not too far away from Los Angeles, and it gets snow. We go like every once in a while for a couple days, and then after a couple days, I'm like, all right, get me the fuck out of here before I kill somebody.
And then you're like, oh, now I'm back in LA. And it's warm.
and other people are killing each other.
Smoggy.
You know what's funny? The smog isn't as bad as it used to be. That was very 80s. With all the emissions testing they do on cars nowadays, it's cleaned up a bit. Especially when it rains. It's kind of funny. You see how it kind of knocks the smog out of the air. And then you just slide on the street because it's like oil slicks. It's fun.
Oh, LA! I'm gonna have to get back there sometime.
It's like driving in the snow when it rains.
Leave Ireland. Go to LA.
My slow torture. So just make me watch like Fox News for like 3 minutes.
Ooh. Yeah.
Fox and Friends, especially.
You have a low tolerance as far as torture time.
Yeah. Have you seen Fox and Friends before?
Oh, fuck no. I have anything better to do.
You wouldn't last very long, sir.
Probably not.
Could you limit it to Fox, because any talking head show is pretty obnoxious at this point, I feel like.
I mean, it's a funny thing to say now while we're on this.
Aren't we on a talking head show?
Talking heads, like talking
Ouch, bro. Ouch.
Yeah, I avoid the news altogether, actually, to be honest with you. So
Yeah.
All right, we are going to score this for the Cult Filmometer. It's our last duty.
Duty.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
All right, 0 to 100. And you can reason it out or whatever. But I'm going to start with you, Melissa.
Aw.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a 90 it.
90.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a 90 it. It's definitely high up there on cultability. It's not
What a
even like
cult.
my favorite movie, but it's such a cult classic, and it has so many great elements. It is a great movie, regardless of whether it's my favorite or not. It's still great. So yeah, this is like, it's got like everything. I think it deserves a 90.
Okay. 90. Starting with the 90. Who goes next while I get my phone that has the Cult Filmometer on it? The Cult Filmometer app is on my phone. Let's go with Danielle. 0 to 100.
It's tough. Like, I feel like everybody I know loves this movie. So I don't know if you could consider it cult, because I just feel like it's such a popular movie in a lot of ways. At the same time, a lot of my friends are geeks and losers, so maybe that's not saying much.
My friends aren't watching.
No, they love me. We are geeks and losers. That's
we unite as geeks and
makes us
losers.
awesome. You know, we're not.
I mean, if they're watching Project Nerd, they already know they're geeks and losers.
Yeah,
Geeks-
we're not the preps of the high school elite. We are the geeks and losers of the high
People
school.
want to be geek, so stop equating being a geek with a loser, though, because
No one's watching this show. Come on.
geeks have inherited the earth.
Geeks have inherited the earth, and when I say loser, I say that in the most positive way as possible. Like, you know,
Like you
like
barely lost.
yeah, like we are the awesome. We have inherited the earth. You know?
You only lost out on income, not integrity. You know,
Yeah,
that type of thing.
we are, and so maybe the Cult Thermometer is, you know, maybe I agree. Maybe it is like the 90s, because it's one of my favorite films of all time. And at the time that it came out, maybe it wasn't super popular. It is fantasy, and I am a huge fantasy and sci-fi nerd fan. So I would say 95. I would agree there.
Can you say Cult Thermometer again?
Cult Thermometer.
Yes.
Wait, can I change my answer? I want it to be 89.
Oh,
It
Why?
should be in the 80s. Well, I don't know. It was 87.
Because it came out in 87.
And it's like, It is just it's.
So you want to
80s.
punish it for being from
it is-
1987?
is it a
Okay.
Let's punish Murph for being from the 80s.
But if you were born in the early 80s and you were a teenager in the 90s and you kind of revered this film because of part nostalgia, part nerdiness, part awesomeness.
Yes.
I mean, I let you change it to 89, so
Yes.
that's what your score is.
As you wish.
Iggy.
That's the answer I was waiting for. Thank you.
Fetch me that picture, bitch.
So when first of all, I rank every movie I see. I literally, when we come back from the theater, I have a spreadsheet where I keep scores of every movie I watch.
too.
I am a weirdo.
Me too.
And it's hard because when people always ask that question, what's your favorite movie? And my answer is never direct because it depends on the mood, it depends on the genre, it depends on a whole bunch of things. Mm-hmm. So when I look back at certain movies like this, these are the ones that I say are the ones that you can put on whenever. Like, no matter what mood I am in, if you put The Princess Bride on, I'm happy with it. No matter who I show this movie to, I have not seen a negative response from a person. And anytime somebody references Peanuts to somebody selling you something to like Inconceivable, it doesn't matter. Everybody in the room shouts a line from this movie. It is hands down, even as much as it's loved and praised, even if it is just our geek community, but I think it is a wide community that loves and praises it, I still would say this is an underrated movie because of its place in pop culture history. I would say a 95.
Awesome. 95 from Iggy. Mike. Whoa.
Wow.
I like it.
And this is why. I would give it 100, but come on. He's got a mask on. He's fucking recognizable. He's not Superman. My only beef with the movie. It's one of those
It's a good one.
Completely rewatchable over and over and over. You can't really get sick of it unless you watch it like a torture constantly every day.
Okay.
But I would say it's one of the best movies to watch when you're sick.
Yeah.
But also, like, it kind of hit home when he's wearing his mask, whatever, and he's having that conversation, and he predicts, like, I predict everyone will be wearing masks in the future. Like, welcome to 2020 through 2022, at least.
Holy shit.
Well, then I take that it would be 100%, but Carrie Elway's predicted masks, and I want to punch him in the dick.
You know what Carrie Elwes thinks about that? He does not support being punched in the dick.
Well, he shouldn't have predicted wearing masks in 1987.
But he didn't predict it. The writers predicted it.
Well, William Golden, he said the lines, and William Golden needs to be punched in the dick, too.
Everyone gets punched in the dick. Really, the Oprah of punching in the dick.
You get a punch in the dick. You get a punch in the dick.
Exactly. Line them up, folks.
Mike's even changed to the hard drink because this is stressing him out.
I'd like to know who's lining up for that, though.
I went to Diet Dr. Pepper.
It's like cough medicine.
It is like cough medicine.
I mean, it's no Sprite for when you're sick,
No
but it's
Sprite,
there.
yeah.
It's no Verner's either.
Right.
Burners. Oh God. All right. And you've got a point there, Mike, about like she talks to him a lot, and then it's not until she's pushing him down the hill and he says like one phrase, "As you wish." She's like, "Oh God, it is him. It's him."
It's pretty obvious where she's like literally being manhandled by him, like, go, walk forward.
Okay.
She's like,
But like a farm boy barely talks to her. She barely falls in love with him. She didn't.
yeah, but she's like 4 inches away from his face the
like,
entire
what,
movie.
10 years before she sees him again. How much time
Five.
passes? 5 years. Sorry, I didn't get to see the movie before this guest. 5 years before they see each other again, and then she's.
This is
like,
a pretty good score.
He goes from
why he
being
took
like
off.
super nice all the time to like this kind of dick, and she's like, why would your true love be a dick to you? And then he's like, oh, as you wish. She's like, oh man, it was a nice guy. Shh. You know, like
I would have agreed with Mike in the first place, but you mentioned 5 years, and I think about just the last 2 years and how much I've probably aged with the stress.
How much
So
you've
no,
changed.
Not even that, but like if you think a
how much have
person's
we all
dead,
aged in 2020 and
if
2021?
you've accepted that a person is dead, like you. I mean, and part of getting over that is forgetting.
Well, I would think that she would be like, dead person.
I would think that she just feels like her mind is messing with her, that she's seeing him in everyone and anything. And so it's just easier to be like, no, I've accepted he's dead.
This is getting
He needs
deep.
to remain dead. And therefore, regardless of the clues, I'm going to ignore, that feeling that this is him because it's impossible. It's inconceivable.
They didn't have denial. They didn't have denial back then. Denial didn't exist back then.
I do not think that wood means what you think.
Wasn't a river in back then.
You didn't have pictures back then or internet back then. You didn't have pictures to review of the person.
Where is back then in this? Like, is there an actual time set? It's a fantasy world.
Okay.
You know what, guys?
Fantasy, low or high. There's no pictures.
We'll have a sequel episode that talks about the mask.
You know what, guys? He absolutely railed against it for that, but he only took off 1.01 points because of it and scored it much higher than either of you.
I'm changing mine. This is my new score.
Okay, I thought this was disgusting. Having a discussion. Do the points.
I was going to give it 102 because that's my temperature right now.
Dames, what are you going to give it?
All right, so I'm going to tell you guys, Rob Reiner is one of the most important directors in my life. Starting out as Meathead and All in the Family, he gave us fucking Stand By Me, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, Spinal Tap, A Few Good Men, Wolf on Wall Street, The Bucket List, fucking Princess Bride. These movies are like all important to my life.
He also gave us North. Remember that.
That's right. That's right. Sleepless in Seattle, I believe. The American President, I believe.
I think Sleepless in Seattle was Nora Ephron, or at least she wrote it. He might have directed.
He also did the documentary on Andre the Giant. I mean, there's so many things he's done. Mixed Nuts.
Would you say, James, that Rob Reiner is a national treasure?
What'd you say, James? Anybody want a peanut?
Sweet Jesus.
I would say he's a national treasure. He's
a national
treasure. He fucking...
Rob Reiner's a beautiful man.
I align with him on pretty much everything.
What are we doing with the declaration?
And I just can't believe how diverse his directorial catalog is. He can go from something like A Few Good Men and absolutely perfect that film, and then something like Princess Bride and absolutely perfect that film. You guys know I'm a super tough grader on films. Like Ernest, I gave a 43, but here it is just for proof. This movie is a 92 all the way through. 92. That's a good score for me. Yes.
Okay, so this is a movie that I like. I've mostly watched it in pieces rather than like sitting through it beginning to end. It has never been one of my go-to movies, but people around me have quoted it my whole life. Like anytime a peanut gets brought up, my wife does say, "Anybody want a peanut?" Like Inigo Montoya has become iconic. Like people reference him outside of anything to do with movies, which is like so strange when you think about that, because it's not like Mandy Patinkin for anything else really, like unless you are in the business or like a diehard like film fan. But like people think he's like an icon.
Man. He's in Dick Tracy, obviously.
Yeah. Everybody was in that movie though, but people think he's an icon basically because of this movie. I mean, it's not because of his like esteemed Broadway career, which that's where he's made his mark, probably what he wants to be remembered by. But
I just like to say Patinkin.
That's why I nicknamed my penis.
But like I sat and watched this, like it's one of the rare times watching it beginning to end today, just this morning. And like it struck me how many scenes are just written like brilliantly. Like you could not craft a more brilliant scene than the poison scene with Wallace Shawn and Carrie Elwes. The dynamic between Mandy Patinkin and Andre the Giant, like those two working together. And then in the scene when they finally get Westley back, and he's flopping all around because he's slowly getting his range of motion back. Like that's just amazing comedy that's played in a situation that's not normally comedic. This is like a rare movie, and the frame story, just with two great actors of different generations, makes it just makes like the perfect bookends for the story to be presented to you. And it's a pretty almost perfect film for me. And so I'm gonna score it a 96. And let's check this out on the Cult Filmometer.
You see, pure stupid minds, stupid.
It's a 94.33. Dames, you're muted.
Still muted.
Yep, still muted. Oh, now you're just messing with me.
Wow. The final CF3 film to be logged is The Princess Bride, 1987, at a 94.33. Enters it into the annals of all time. Between Total Recall at 93.5 and Home Alone at 94.56 as third highest movie we've ever reviewed.
And that's really close between that and Home Alone.
Yes.
Like,
and now
definitely Melissa's score.
I go back to being unemployed in Greenland.
My bad, y'all.
Okay, well, I would love to thank you all for joining us for the last CF3. Listen, we don't know what the future is going to be for like us as far as like entertaining. Obviously, Project Nerd with Iggy and Danielle is moving on to PNTV next year. I plan to keep working with Project Nerd in certain capacities. We just won't have this show ready to debut, basically. And Dames and I have already been talking about like, oh, but what about these segments that are from the show, like Total Recast and other things that we've thought of. So these things may move on. He's talked about the Partycast, just making it its own thing that's separate from what we used to do. And so there may be more to come from that, but we're retiring the logo, the name CF3, all of that's gone. But it's been great starting out in 2018, I think it was, with the audio podcast. And we've interviewed so many like celebrities, so many minor celebrities, a couple above minor celebrities. And then you've got your Mike Kallios of the world. Who has worked
very low
with,
on that totem pole. Very low.
But you've rubbed shoulders with constantly many of the people that I would have loved to have interviewed for the show, like Bruce Campbell.
Well,
but,
well, you're fucking up. I could probably get him for the show. All right, bye.
No. I'm not. So I just want to do something else, and I'm still trying to figure out what that is. Dames is figuring out what he's going to be doing, and
there's a possibility to get a Bruce in the future for whatever you guys do. I love you guys. So
awesome. I love Bruce, and so does Melissa. Like,
that's really nice.
She would marry
I
him.
love you, and you're like, oh, I love the other guy.
Yeah.
When she was talking about her fiance this whole time, she's imagining that he's Bruce Campbell. But he's just really this guy that likes Christmas
Bruce
trees.
bought all these trees.
I'm imagining Bruce beating him with all of his trees. And then we can leave, skip out of there happily ever after. It's great.
Bruce doesn't skip.
Well, maybe for me.
He ambles.
He's more of a mosier.
Saunter. I don't know. Is that a word? It sounds like a word.
Yeah, saunter is a word. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll saunter right on out there.
It's in 3 or 4 of Mike's scripts. As we speak.
I actually have a movie called The Sauntering.
It's a found footage.
It's about It's a found footage movie about people who are walking around.
It's found footage, as in like you found footage that you shot in the early 90s, and you need to repurpose it.
I hope it's like a 4-hour movie too.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be long.
Final cut.
Yeah, so we'll see you on the other side somewhere at some point, and until then, watch Princess Bride a lot and watch PNTV, and it's going to be all over Roku come March 2022, right, Iggy? Yeah.
Roku web and mobile at launch, with other platforms following later in the year.
Amazing. Thanks again, everybody, and happy holidays to you all. This will be just before New Year's when you have a chance to see it. So party on and happy 2022.
Let me say something real quick.
Oh yeah, Dames Marvs.
Oh, last fucking chance, man. I want to give a props and thanks to anyone that's ever been on the show. Danielle, I'm going to talk to you guys because you're the ones that are here. You've been professional every way I've ever spoken with you, and I love you for that. Iggy, same thing. We've had some good times, and hopefully it's just the beginning of those good times. Same with you, Michael Kallio. You're an amazing human being, and I can't wait to work with you further.
Absolutely.
Danielle, or I'm sorry, got you, Danielle. Mojo, you starred in a series of films about incest, and that makes you my partial celebrity crush, and that will never change, despite you have a fiance who makes you deal with 8 Christmas trees. Dane Mychal. Wow, this last 3 years has been a pleasure. I want to give a shout out to Jeff Johnson, who this show wouldn't have made it as far as it did without him. He's got a new show. Dane, you know what it's called? Just so we can plug that.
Suns and Shadows. That's an audio podcast, and they're doing great stuff. They just interviewed Trace and Frank from Mystery Science Theater 3000, the Mads, the original Mads. So you should check it out, Suns and Shadows.
And finally, I will promise you guys this will not be the last party cast that you see if this is something that you love. And it won't be the last one that you're a part of if you guys love being a part of it. And got lots of things. There's a studio in this room being built for shows, only shows specifically for 2022. And I can't wait to show you guys what all those are about.
Very exciting.
I love you all. Thank you for the last 3 years.
Thank you. And anybody want a peanut? I still have lots to give away.
Mail them to me.
All right.
La 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 la.